Okay, let's be real for a second. We've all been there, right? You get this incredible burst of inspiration. You're going to start a new habit, exercising, reading more, maybe meditating. But then, I don't know, a week later, that motivation is just gone. Poof. So why does that happen? And more importantly, how can we finally get those good habits to stick? Well, it turns out the answer is surprisingly simple. So, to see what I mean, let's talk about Mike. Mike wakes up one morning and he is fired up. He's ready to make a change. For the first few days, everything's amazing. He's riding that awesome wave of motivation. He's excited. He can see the new version of himself already. But then, you know what happens? Reality kicks in. By about day 5, that shiny new feeling starts to fade. What felt like this exciting new project just a few days ago now kind of just feels, well, like a chore. That initial rush is officially over. And that leads to the one excuse we all know so well, it's fine, I'll just do it tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow comes and Mike still doesn't feel like it. And this cycle just keeps repeating until that amazing new habit is basically forgotten. Sound familiar? So that brings us to the big question. Why is it so hard to follow through on this stuff? It's not just Mike, it's all of us. It's not like we don't want the change, so what is really going on here? What's the roadblock? Well, the problem, it turns out, is something we can call mental resistance. You see, that first burst of motivation feels great, but it's temporary, it's fleeting, and we just can't rely on a temporary feeling to build a habit that's meant to last a lifetime. And here's the key insight, and this is a big one. The problem isn't actually the task, it's the expectation we set for ourselves. One more feeling all motivated, it's easy to say something huge, like, I'm gonna go to the gym for a full hour every single day. The problem isn't the gym, it's the absolutely massive size of that commitment. That huge expectation, that's what creates mental resistance. It's that feeling you get when a task seems so big, so overwhelming that you just avoid it. A full hour at the gym when you're tired and not feeling it, that feels like climbing a mountain. It's just so much easier to do nothing at all. So if motivation isn't the answer, then what is? Well, instead of trying to brute force our way through that wall of resistance, we need to make the habit so easy to start that there is no wall. And this, my friends, is where the 2-minute rule comes into play. The whole idea is to basically trick your own brain. You're going to break down that big, scary, intimidating habit into something so ridiculously small, so simple, that you literally can't say no to it. You're lowering the barrier to entry down to almost zero. So here's the rule itself, in all its glory. You scale down any new habit into a version that takes less than 2 minutes to do. Now, obviously, you're not going to achieve your entire goal in 2 minutes. Of course not. But any habit can be started in that time. And this is where the psychological magic happens. We all know this deep down. The hardest part of doing anything is just getting started. But once you've begun, once you're past that initial 2-minute hurdle, the mental resistance just melts away. And all of a sudden, continuing is so much easier. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's get practical and see how you can actually apply this rule to your own goals. This right here is the whole mental shift. So instead of your goal being run 3 miles, your new 2-minute goal is just put on my running shoes. Instead of become a writer, it becomes write 1 sentence. You see? The focus isn't on the finish line way out in the distance, it's on mastering the simple act of starting. I mean, you can't run a marathon if you don't put on your shoes first, right? So there's this great case study about someone who wanted to learn piano. Their goal was huge, practice for 1 hour every day. And you can guess what happened. Motivation faded, and that piano just sat there collecting dust. The idea of a grueling hour-long practice created way too much resistance. So they applied the 2-minute rule. The new goal was simply sit down and play anything for just 2 minutes. It was so easy, there was no reason to say no. And the magic? Once they started, they often just kept on playing, sometimes for much longer. And this really gets to the core principle of this whole idea. The 2-minute rule isn't actually about doing less. It's about mastering the art of just showing up. It's about making the act of starting a habit so automatic, so ingrained, that you just do it without thinking, day after day. You have to remember this. A new habit should not feel like a challenge in the beginning. Those first 2 minutes have to be easy. Because writing one sentence is infinitely better than writing nothing at all. Playing piano for 1 minute is way better than none at all. It is always, always better to do less than you hoped than to do absolutely nothing. And I want to leave you with this final quote, because it sums it all up perfectly. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist. You can worry about making it better later. First, you just have to build the habit of showing up. So stop asking yourself, how can I get motivated? And start asking, how can I make this so easy to start that I can't possibly say no? Just begin. The rest will follow.